GNT show is intended for mature audiences. Parental discretion is advised. These are the voyages of the GNT show. Our continuing mission to explore Star Trek storytelling, to seek out new worlds and interesting characters, to Boliga, where no show has gone before. Live long and prosper, bitches. Fun! Convention news.
Hey everyone, it's Terry Lynn from the GNT Show, live on the floor of Las Vegas 2016, the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. And on my left, your right, today wearing his best formal wear and tuxedo is the one, the only Gettysburg 7.
Joe Lontrue.
And joining us, and we are just absolutely thrilled and just honored to have with us the one, the only Bjo Trimble, and the people and the person we, along with your husband, saved Star Trek. Welcome to the GNT Show, Miss Trimble.
Thank you. I was very pleased to be here. This is wonderful.
What is it like for you on the 50th anniversary to see the fandom that you kind of helped save?
Well, you know, to realize at this point that this wouldn't even be here if we hadn't done all of this, it's kind of amazing since we didn't plan this. We didn't plan this at all. In fact, I'll tell you a secret. We did not even know that the letter writing campaign would work. We figured we'd get a couple of hundred letters into NBC to bug them. I didn't know we were pissed, but that was it. And we were getting of course, no feedback because nobody had home computers in those days, and so there was no social media, and we were working in the dark. So the biggest surprise in the world was when they announced that it was safe for the third season. We were amazed. And of course, the phone rang off the wall immediately. And it was just, then it rang off the wall when the other time zones. And it was just sort of amazing. But again, all right, we saved it for the third season. Yay. We saved it for another series. Yay. But we still didn't think that it would go much further than that. And each time something more would happen or another thing, and the movies were being made, and it's like, okay, how long can this go? This is kind of, and then here we are 50 years later. Who knew
with
that?
a new movie out this year.
I know. Yeah. And a new series. Yeah.
And Bjo's husband, John, has joined us as well. Welcome.
Thank you.
And so I have a question. Between the two of you, really, there's the question I'll have. Who was the Star Trek fan between you two first, or did you do it together?
Oh, together. Yeah, we met Gene Roddenberry at the Worldcon and World Science Fiction Convention in 1966 in Cleveland. He had brought 3 episodes of this new television show to show. It hadn't aired yet. And he brought 3 costumes. She was running a futuristic fashion show at the convention. And they had come up to her and told her she had exactly an hour. And then they came back and said, oh, this big Hollywood producer has 3 costumes you want to put in your fashion show. And she says, no, because it's going to take me that long to get them on. So she said, just go unpromise him. And they, oh, well, we can't do that. Let's just go away. So the guy came back. In a little while, this guy shows up.
Total stranger, and he says, may I speak to you? And I said, yeah, okay. And he said, can we go for a cup of coffee? Well, that's a good lure. So I went, and 20 minutes later, this silver-tongued devil had talked his way into our fashion show, but the models were looking at losing a good gig, right, for the weekend. So they offered to help work backstage with our amateur models and keep the show going, and that's why I agreed. So then later on that night, he showed them the 3 episodes.
That he brought, yeah.
And it was like, okay, we were enthused, but we were cautious because Lost in Space was supposed to be, a grown-up.
And then it had evolved into a kiddie show.
Yeah, and basically we'd seen, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. All of these things really started out, if you ever see the first several episodes, as grown-up events. And then, and so we thought, let's just see. Yeah. And so when it was shown on TV then, black and white, of course, in those days, for us, and we thought, well, we still kind of like it, but yeah.
And Gene had said to us at the show in Cleveland, if you're ever in Hollywood, give me a call and come by the studio and we'll do lunch. Well, that's Hollywood talk for, thanks, go away. Well, when we were next we lived in Oakland at the time. When we were next down in L.A., we called, and his secretary said, Bjo Trimble, and out loud, and he never closed his office door, and he picked up the phone. And he said, are you in town? And we said, yes. And he said, come on by the studio. So he told us anytime that we were in Hollywood and to call, and we could go on the lot.
But really, the whole thing was he was so thrilled that fans liked it because, of course, the pundits were saying it won't last, 6 months. It won't, and NBC, which had bought it at the urging of Desilu, really didn't want it because Gene was such a loose cannon, and he really was.
Yeah.
You never knew what this man was going to do next. And here's all these nice, wonderful square suits going on in New York. They had no clue, none. And so they tried to kill it off the first season, and Harlan Ellison ran a little letter campaign, but it was only with the authors. We're going to kiss a nice venue goodbye if you don't, and a few fans, but not much, and it didn't go very far. So, but NBC relented a little bit, and then we were on the set in about the middle of the second season, and everybody.
They were filming the episode, the part of the Deadly Years, where they've aged and now they've come back to youth, and Kirk comes back to relieve the guy who's in charge on the set, and jumps down off the upper part of the stage down to where the captain's chair is, and then grabs his back and tweak, because maybe it's still a little dead. Well, we watched him do that about seven or eight times. I'm not sure if the director was not satisfied with it or was just tweaking Kirk Shatner. Who knows?
We're pretty sure it was the latter.
Yeah. So, but the whole atmosphere of the crew and the cast was so different than it had been on previous visits. Previously, it had been a very up and going group of people, and this was so down. And so we started asking around, trying to figure out why, and we couldn't get any answers out of anybody. So we did what you do if you can't figure out what's going on the set. You go ask craft services, because they're the radar O'Reillys.
Yeah, they learn all the gossip.
And the craft services guy said, well, it's not official yet, but the words come down, the show's going to be canceled after this season.
And of course, everybody knew it. And
so we had to leave and drive back to Oakland, and we're in the car. We're in the Central Valley, heading north for the Bay Area, and we're kind of talking about this. And I said, it's really sad, and damn, it shouldn't be canceled. There ought to be something we could do about that. Now, I should know better to say this to her.
That was.
Did you say I should have known than to say this to her?
No, that.
Well, it was a gauntlet.
She was on fire at that point.
Yeah, we spent the rest of the trip formulating the Save Star Trek campaign.
Now, we had no template. Nobody had ever done this. And certainly not on the scale we planned.
Right.
And so we worked out some things, and we got home, and I said, we better phone Gene, because if he's thrown in the towel, there's no sense doing this. And we called him, and he said, I just got out of a staff meeting, and I had just said if there was only some way we could reach the fans.
And we fell in his lap. We fell in his lap.
So basically, that's what happened in a nutshell. And then I went around and talked to secretaries in all kinds of jobs. And I said, what about a letter makes you throw it away, file it in the nut file, answer it yourself, or give it to your boss? And then I wrote up this little set of rules to follow. But the first one was always mail a letter in a business envelope. I can't tell whether it's business or what, and basically that's actually what tipped it.
And the sheet that we sent out gave these rules and then said, now your job is to write a letter, copy this, and send it out to 10 friends, and have each of them write a letter, and copy it and send it out to 10 friends, and have each of them write.
You're telling me you chain lettered this to its...
Believe it.
The power of 10.
We call it the power of 10, and it was a chain letter.
I love this story even more now because I didn't realize that was part of it.
And we were fortunate. We had Mensa picked it up and put it in their newsletter. Several people who were officers in corporations picked it up and put it in their corporation's newsletter.
Wow.
IBM,
Yep.
it was a newsletter
IBM,
there.
Kodak, Polaroid. However, we also did something else. We said, you will sit down and write out all of the sponsors of this show. Because there'll be some local, some national. You're going to write these letters to them too. Because what we got then was a weapon where they're paying good money for prime time, and they're going to call and say, what are we hearing from possible customers about your doing, and I told them, I said, be nice, just say, we're very sorry that this is happening, but, and here you are, your name's attached to this too, and, this sort of thing. Well, hit them in the pocketbook. That's the only way to do it. And it worked.
Well, I can't, I'm just so thrilled to be able to say that I got to meet you and also to say thank you personally.
Oh, well, thank you.
And I do mean that from the bottom of my heart. I know Nick feels the same way.
Yeah, I just have one follow-up question for you. With the way things have changed since then, with social media and all of that, do you think, I don't think it could happen again because there's so much.
Oh, yes, it could.
Clutter. You think so?
Oh, yes.
We, in fact, about 12 years ago now, we got a phone call from a friend of ours at JPL who had worked for a long time on the Pluto project. And he said, we've got, the Luddites in Congress are trying to cancel the whole program. If we miss this particular shot, it's 288 years before we get another chance. And so we've got to have it now. And I sat down, I love this, and called up all the fan clubs I know on my computer, wrote a letter that said, here we go again, gang, write another letter, and hit one button and reached at least 20,000 people. Woohoo!
And New Horizons flew past Pluto last year.
And I did. I'm crying because the photos were amazing.
And those aren't even yet the goodies.
Right.
Yeah.
When they get some of the closer-up shots, it's going to knock your socks off.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of the high-res stuff yet from Pluto.
Yes, but I'm waiting with anticipation.
And here we stand now, 50 years later, and Star Trek doesn't have any notice of waning at all. And who knew it would have legs like this? I couldn't have predicted it. No, we couldn't have.
No, we had
honey,
no
believe me,
concept.
because if we'd known that,
clue.
we'd have invested in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
That would have made us
Believe me,
rich.
it
And you
would
were in the
have
motion
loved to
picture,
have
correct?
had a little piece of this action.
Could have been, but he couldn't get off work. And
She was in the motion picture.
but I was one of the 400 people on the rec deck, and you can't see me. The little lady in the front row, who looks a lot like me and is wearing a two-piece tan outfit, is not me. That's Mrs. Robert Wise.
Oh, wow.
And when we met each other, it was kind of like, because we could be relatives. And I'm not sure how flattered she was about that, but all right. But I am like way in the back, and I'll tell you why. Half of those people were professionals.
Right.
They needed the FaceTime in that movie. And I didn't. I was just there because it was fun. Yeah.
What a wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, gosh. Thank you.
Congratulations on the 50th anniversary of Star Trek. Truly, thank you.
That is so cotton picking amazing.
Luca Vegas has this.
Yeah, it's amazing. It is just amazing. Some of them are hysterical. Shut your.
It complains if it's on too long.
And that movie that just came out, Beyond, we both loved it. We said that captures the
I
spirit.
think it is the best Star Trek movie since Star Trek 4.
I agree.
Yeah.
We totally agree.
The character development was right. It was spot on with our
action
our
all had a
characters.
purpose.
That's what we said. The story led the action. The action didn't lead the story.
Right. And the action was not gratuitous. There was a reason for it. We saw it at Comic-Con, the big premiere there.
Oh, nice.
And wait, we're spoiled now.
Goodies.
Goodies. The orchestra, we had an orchestra play the music throughout the movie.
So,
we're spoiled. We want all of
I
our
want
movies.
all my movies to have an orchestra and fireworks and a laser show ahead.
It was just delightful. And it was so great because the audience just went berserk. I mean, seriously. But there's awe all the way through it.
And
It's silent.
When it was over and they were rolling the credits, some people in front of us stood up and I said, either move or sit down.
What do you
They
think?
sat back down.
What do you think of the tribute they have to Anton out there that everybody's been saying?
I think that's that's beautiful. That is serious. We're on it, and they're just looking for spaces now. They're signing on the far edges, but I don't know what's happening to that. But really, I hope they send it to his family because they're not going to cast Chekhov again.
Right.
And I think that's wonderful because it does, it's not going to.
We would like to thank John and Bjo Trimble for joining us on this special supplemental log from the floor of STLV 50, STLV 2016. For Terry Lynn.
Hello, live long and prosper.
For the Trimbles.
Absolutely live long and
Great.
prosper.
Yes, definitely live long and prosper. Boldly go where no one has gone before. My God.
This is Gettysburg 7 saying Jolan True.
Music for the GNT show is provided by 5-Year Mission, Enterprise Blues Band, Warp 11, Andrew Allen, and Greth Thor. The GNT show is a BLB production.
Move ahead, walk back to 10. Put a mini skirt on my yo man. Represent the human race. And we make space a happy place. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I've sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Gonna travel to new worlds. Beam on down and meet some green girls. Gonna see what we can see. A fancy-free galaxy. To boldly go where no man's gone before. I think I sang that line once before, but I'm not too sure. We'll be so happy, can't you see? A zero-G community. Come and take a tour with me. There'll be no cons or Kobayashi.